Hello there, everybody. This is Linda Bennett, your spiritual counselor and psychic host for Metaphysically Speaking. Thanks for joining us again, and I hope you've been enjoying the shows we've had running on YouTube and, of course, on the radio. And I want to welcome you back, one and all, even if you're new and you think, what is Metaphysically Speaking? Who are these people? Well, Metaphysically Speaking, again, I try to open the show by explaining it to you, is a concept I developed many, many years ago. Aristotle said metaphysics is the unseen world. When I got this title in meditation years ago, it means to me bringing the unseen world and the seen world together. Now, a lot of people try to make metaphysics very special, very secretive. Only the high initiates can participate. I say, hockey puck. That is not what the universe is all about. It is all about understanding who we are, why we're here, what do we have pets for, why do we have trees, why do we have planets, why do we have solar systems, things like that. And so this is to give you an idea each and every week of how you can participate in your own life and in the lives of others. Tonight we're going to be talking about happy soulmates. You're going to say, wait a minute, I get the soulmate thing. What's happy soulmates? Happy soulmates. Different species. How can that be? Because it is. Soulmates are people you've been with in many lifetimes. Some are happy, some are not so happy. Have you ever met someone you had an instant like for and you think, wow, I can't wait to go to the movies or have dinner or talk to that person again? And then you met somebody else and saying, oh, you got the creeps. Something doesn't feel right. Your skin is crawling. Or you feel very threatened, very intimidated. You might not even meet the person. You might be at a social event or you might be at work and feel somebody staring at you and boring holes into you. I think, where is that coming from? It feels like a cold chill. You look around the room, and if you're very perceptive and the person isn't trying to hide their ugly feelings towards you, or perhaps they have ugly feelings and they're not even aware of it. They just feel weird towards you. That's someone you've had very difficult and possibly threatening karma with. So you're surrounded by friends, enemies, and neutrals. Neutrals are people you really haven't had any or very much contact with in other lifetimes, and therefore they're acting as a buffer between the happy soulmate people and the unhappy soulmate people. Now, happy soulmates, when we're talking about a couple's energy, and I'm going to sneeze here for the first time on air in like a million years, happy soulmate people are people you have been with happily in other lifetimes. That is someone you should consider marrying. Now, I'm not getting into the whole political rigmarole of whether we should have same-sex marriages because it is not possible to have a same-sex marriage. Yes, I know people are homosexual, are now screaming and climbing up on the ceiling and yelling, jumping up and down and screaming, I'm a bigot. No, I'm not a bigot. I'm speaking as a minister and as a spiritual teacher. The reason people of the opposite sex marry is because when you marry, you are supposed to be creating the Heavenly Father, Divine Mother in your own life. God is both male and female, and in perfection, neither. Now think about that. When you perfect the male energy, it takes on the female aspect, and then the purification of the two come together. If you're female, you take on the male aspect. The purification of the two, understanding each other completely, the balance of logic and emotion turns into spirit. So if people want to have unions, that's great. But we can't go around changing spirituality throughout the universe because it's politically correct. I don't mind if people with dignity want to live in dignity and have marital unions. But a marriage is the bringing together of the male-female energy of God. And of course, if you're in the Western religions, Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, you don't know this unless you study the Kabbalah. Because they don't want to teach it to you. Because they don't like women. So now they're stuck with the whole mess they've created. But we're not talking about that today. We are talking about the balance of the male-female energy of God and what that means to a relationship. And I don't want to hear about how many divorces there are. I think, just like if you have to get a dog license or a hunting license, you should have to get a marriage license where you wait 60 days. And you shouldn't be able to fly off into another country. You should have marital counseling. And marital counseling, by the way, is popular all around the world. Whether you're Hindu, whether you're Buddhist, whether you're Shinto, it doesn't matter. You are counseled by tribal elders, so to speak, or members of the spiritual leaders in your community about whether or not you would be a good match for each other. It has nothing to do with money. I know in India, certain factions of Hinduism marry off the wife to a wealthy husband. And when you think of the practical aspects of it, the wife is usually younger, the husband is usually older. And what this means to the bride's family is he's proven himself. He has shown that he can earn a living, that he can provide for a wife and children, that he is capable of conducting a household, that people who are going to be in the community will respect the couple because they have something to contribute. And that was the reason that a younger wife would marry an older husband. Now, sometimes it gets to be ridiculous. I think a 10-year spread is fine. I've known some couples where there was a 22-year spread and they were very happily married. The wife was 22 years older than the husband. And believe it or not, he died first, which was totally unexpected. I've known couples where there was a 30-year difference. But the interesting thing is, if you're over 40, 45 and you're listening to this radio show, you know that you don't feel any different today than you did when you were 14 years old. You cannot believe what it says on the calendar because you are the exact same person. I am the same person I was laying in the crib wondering why I couldn't get out when I was doing this stupid thing. So 30 years is not much of a space of time between a happy couple. And if it works for them, then that's what they should participate in. And the idea that he's going to die first if he's older, well, probably, but not in several of the cases that I've known. And they were very happily married people. Now, we've got a caller on the line, and if you've got questions about marriage or relationships, especially, I'd like to hear from you, whether it's personal or whether it's metaphysical. Caller, first name and comment or question.
Yes, my name is Helen, and I have a question.
Okay.
I am engaged, and I am older. This would be my third marriage, and I am very, very nervous about getting married again. My first two marriages, obviously, it was not go well at all. I'm wondering if I'm doing the right thing.
Well, one of the things I like is that you're really evaluating this. You're not jumping into it. And what is the first name of the man that you're referring to?
David.
David? Okay. I don't feel David is a bad guy. In fact, I think with a little more work and better understanding, the two of you really could have a happy marriage. But there's an interesting thought here, and I don't get this often. You could also do nicely without David. Here's what I suggest for people, and I'm going to ask you another question after this. So don't hang up on me because I have to get an answer from you. I would make a list of all the things you like and all the things you don't like about him. And on the things you don't like, what do you think the chances are of him changing? And then, yeah. And
I feel like I'm old enough to know that they don't change.
Yeah, well, I have seen people who change. And I don't believe I'm speaking these words, but for instance, my